green. I'm taking my plant back to Marshall's, by the way. Oh my god.
I spent 2 hours, 30 minutes trying to figure out that was his sister or his girlfriend.
I didn't. It didn't register until she said babe.
This ain't gonna make
Can
the
you move
camera,
my
right?
camera up just a little bit so I can have this? Never mind.
No.
No, don't worry about it.
This pod ain't long enough for that. And there's something
Yo, we are back. Give me a second. We're back, man. It's your boy RJ. I got my happily married friend and brother, Roderick, and of course, the man that's always in between salvations,
Get out of here.
Ray Sean. And listen, I need some help because I'm getting older in age. And I'm just going to jump straight to the point. I know I just jumped straight into the podcast. Before we do that, don't forget to like, share, comment, all things Safe Space Radio, Safe Space Network, and of course, Give Me a Second podcast. We're on Twitter. We're on TikTok. We're on YouTube. We're in some parts of Facebook, and we're in a lot of spaces in IG. So just find one of those platforms and follow things, everything I just said. Now, I need some help. Help me get into it. Keeping it spicy in the relationship. My problem with keeping it spicy in a relationship is I'm starting to learn that there are a lot of hitting expectations that I didn't know existed. I.e., because we're together now, I'm responsible for oil changes. I'm responsible for nails. I just want to know. And I mean, I want to understand what that looks like.
First of all, I don't think that's keeping it spicy.
Okay.
I've been married almost 8 years now.
Yeah.
And
Let me know
I think my issue is because you got to think about how you got them, right? You got them on some spicy stuff, whether, swinging from olive branches to olive branches.
Oh, you talking about the real spice.
Yeah, I'm talking about the real spice. But you got to think whether when you get married and you add the element of kids, things just change and the priorities change, right? And a lot of times it's like, all right, because I've been with you for so long, things just become status quo. You're messing my soundbite up. But no, things just become status quo, man. And the thing is like, you're like, oh, well, because it's been working for this long, I don't need to change. But in reality, people are changing every day.
Yeah.
And that's the part that we have to understand, whether you're man or woman. So
I think, the older I'm getting, I'm finding out that I like things I didn't know I liked. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a thing, though.
And I'm being for real.
Yeah.
And let me make sure I'm clear. I mean that in the most heterosexual way. I mean that in the most. I don't think there's nothing wrong with letting. I mean that in the most heterosexual way. I just didn't want.
I don't even know how to respond.
He didn't want no confusion.
I don't even know what face to make. I'm like,
I didn't want no confusion. Nope, I didn't want no confusion.
Yeah.
But I'm just finding out that I'm attracted to things I didn't realize I was attracted to, and I like things I didn't know I liked.
Because of what he just said, though, your appetite changes. Things change. Every couple of years, you ought to do a check-in with yourself.
But why do y'all think that happens?
Well, I don't think that I'm about to answer that. I hope I am, and if not, we can talk about it a little more. I don't know if that is so much that my appetite is changing. Is that I'm learning that now because of my capacity for relationship, right? It takes more for me to be intrigued, in that way. Like back in the day, I could see someone and be like, man, it's about to be a problem. In the words of Kevin Hart, it's about to go down. Now it takes more than that. You know what I mean? And that doesn't mean that I have a deficiency or anything like that. That really means that I'm just, because because it's so common now. There was a time, and I'm just being for real, there was a time where keeping it spicy was a sacred thing. And it being sacred has kind of left. And so the thought of leaving something to the imagination, I see everything. It's on my timeline. It's in my inbox. It's at my doorstep. You know what I mean? And so now just being thick or whatever, or being able to do, I'll say it this way, the sexual basics ain't enough.
So do you feel like the stagnation of relationships come from not keeping it spicy, or
I think it's too available. I think the availability is.
so you're pro secrecy.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the things that intrigue me now are the things that are left to the imagination.
Yeah, because I'll say like the art of influence, not to get to my profession, but like the art of influence, like, you know, obviously that'll gravitate towards, you know, what you see is like, oh, all right, well, that's what you get, or that's what you want at least. But like, I'm like, look, I'm committed to you, you're committed to me.
I was more connected to a situation where, this is just me being honest. As an example, I'm trying to draw comparisons real quick. To a situation where I saw a person in a particular shirt that was just long enough versus versus someone who, I mean, versus somebody walking past me butt naked. It's because I'm curious.
Yeah.
You know the book Curious George? I'm curious. And if I don't have to, you know, go hunting for it, then it's nothing to really even think about. I'd rather look at the curiosity of it all.
But I think that's where it goes into when you ask the question about when we start talking about spice and how to keep it spicy and keep it going. If you, I'm talking from the female perspective, if your woman know, hey, that's what turned you on, then to keep that spice, hey, you come home one day, she ain't got nothing but just a t-shirt on. You know what I'm saying? That keeps. I think sometimes we overthink how to fix some problem. Well, I don't want to say problems, but how to do some things. We kind of overthink it when sometimes it's just simple. Finding out what your person likes and what triggers them, what turns them on, what fancies. This is what I meant by appetite. What fancies their appetite right now? What's feeding them.
I'm learning that compatibility is more important than it used to be too.
It is.
Yeah. Like there was a time where I didn't even care what your name was. You know what I mean? And I mean. And I mean,
I can't relate, but I feel you though.
Dirty hoe.
No,
go into it.
I didn't.
Brown skin hoe.
That didn't
Cat
mean,
backwards hoe. I'm done.
That didn't mean that I didn't know what your name was. I didn't say I didn't know. I said I just didn't care. You know what I mean?
Hole in jeans hoe.
It just didn't matter.
How many?
Yo. Help it.
Man,
so he only care your name.
You know, but now like compatibility is important.
Yeah.
You know,
credit score is important to me.
Yeah,
that turned me on.
That part.
That turned me on. Money turned me on.
Can I stop you real quick? I went to the Kevin Hart show a couple weeks ago, and one of the guys who was on the Plastic Cup Boys, one of the comedians got up. He referenced that same thing. He was like, "Look, man, I think it was Spanky Horton." He was like, "Look, man, it's a different element of turning me on now. Like, look, you need to be making love to me and telling me like, look, I got this 820, credit score, and I could do this and that for you, And I was like, I laughed, but I was like, yo, he ain't lying. You know what I'm saying?
What's spicy for me now is independence. You know what I mean? Like for real. Like that's keeping it spicy, because the spice that that we could be talking about, man, that is so superficial. It's so temporary. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm learning that spice cost. And I don't know if this necessarily think I need you to be spicy. I need you to be complete.
So do you think that comes from, and I think me and you talked about this offline, do you think that comes from, so let's say you meet a woman and you take them on a date, right? Yeah. And it's a great first date.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean by great. Mm-hmm. Great in the terms of like
I paid.
Location, I paid.
Yeah.
We did this and that.
Yeah.
That's almost like setting a standard to them.
Yeah.
A new norm. Yeah. Right? So like, do you think that
I wouldn't say a new norm, the norm. Yeah.
Yeah.
The norm.
But same thing to me. Like you're establishing a standard. Let's say that. You're establishing a standard where it's like, look, this is what I expect when we go on dates. I mean, do you think?
So I think there should be an element of standard in the date. I think spicy, even in that regard, is being able to always do something different. Yeah. I think, I think the Friday night date night, it's going to work for the first year. She's going to look forward to it for the first year of marriage. Maybe
now
even the second.
Now let's go out of town.
But now it's let's go out of town. And so I'm pro start small. I am pro start small.
And see, that's where I mess up.
You be trying to take them.
You was at large.
You be
you took it to the
Cotton
Bahamas.
Hey,
You took it to the Bahamas early.
I meet you on Tuesday. I'm trying to be in Africa on Friday.
Oh,
Listen.
goodness.
And
But
that's-
that's because
that's
you
what-
want to be in Africa though. So I mean, don't. It's not all's not lost.
Yeah, and I like to move, and I feel like,
yeah.
and I feel like sometimes I've learned you can learn the most about people when you get them outside of the environment
Yeah.
because
Is that both positive and negative?
it's positive. It is positive.
I would
and
say
negative.
everything. It's just
But
everything.
but yeah, it's everything because if we just doing the same regular, well, let's go to Chili's. I don't know who's still going to Chili's, but if let's go to Uptown.
Married folks.
We're just going, going somewhere to go eat. Going to happily married folks eat at Chili's.
Yeah. People down on a budget. But go ahead.
I don't know. They used to have that too. They used to have that 2 for $20 though.
I'm kind of offended now. I don't know where we go from here. Finish your thought before I get upset.
But what I'm saying is, if we just sitting, sitting eating, that's cool. But once you get somebody, forget it, I'm done talking.
No, go Rashad, go ahead.
Y'all ain't gonna laugh.
No, you offended me, bro. I'm not gonna. And he's laughing because I'm offended. But get it off. Get your rocks off.
I
Please,
offended you about
please.
Chili's?
No, get your rocks off with whatever you was talking about.
Well, hold on. Let me be clear.
I know how.
You said who's still going to Chili's, and you said happily married men. Oh,
Hold on, but
man.
let me be clear.
And
Are
then
you
I said people
are-
that got 4 kids, and then
Wow,
Are you going
I
to-
didn't even catch that part.
Yeah.
But
Now
hold on.
I'm really upset.
Are you going on Chili's for a date, or y'all just go?
oh my
No,
God.
2 for $20. Like you
Okay.
said, That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. Like I was offended because I was like,
Okay,
damn.
okay.
Oh,
I'm about to miss.
and that's my one for this episode. I won't do it no more. But look,
man.
I'm really hitting my old lady up like, hey, look,
Oh man.
we got these honey chipotle.
I was just about to say them honey chipotle
Yeah.
crispers with the
Oh,
Mexican
yes,
corn,
sir.
with the Mexican corn.
Yes, honey chipotle crispers. I'm gonna get the burger. And
That's
get
funny.
your rocks off though.
That
My bad.
Mexican corn is it.
It is. It is.
No, but what I'm saying is seriously, like you can get to know somebody by going to the movies or going out to eat, doing the same regular old stuff you do. That's whatever. But when you get somebody like completely out of the element, where we ain't worried about who sees us, who da da da. Do you like to dance? When you what's the conversation when you walking on by the water? Because the water opens people up.
It does.
Well, I'm gonna
It opens
calm
up
setting,
everything.
I had to learn when it comes to spice, you got to start slow. I only got but so many moves.
That's so
I got like 3 moves and a finishing move. You know
if
what
you
I
don't
mean?
shut up.
And I mean
that's
that,
not. But that's
that's
not okay
true.
though, bro.
But
But I'm learning that as I
But
grow.
I mean that in the form of like the holistic package,
know.
though. You know what I mean?
know.
And so you got to start small, and so I'm learning from you. I'm learning from what you're talking about. We gonna stay, at the fast food restaurant. We may upgrade Chick-fil-A by the end of, and I mean, and listen, that's good dining. And I mean that in seriousness, though. You know what I mean? And so I don't want to say I refuse, but I will be very cautious. I'm very cautious, I should say, going forward. Where starting off where the dates are on reservation. That's a different type of date. And then you got the date that's out of the city. Mm-hmm. Then you got the date that's out of the state. Mm-hmm. Then you got the date that's out of the state at a particular resort. Then you got the state that's out of state at a particular resort in another country. You got to go slow.
See,
with
that's
that.
my problem. I'm going the wrong way. I start out the country, then work back to Chili's.
And then wonder why. But what I will say this, I'm gonna let you get your rocks off. But I'm also pro, and I had a perfect example. You know what I mean? Of there's a dynamic where we take care of the business, and because of the way the dynamic is set up, the other part of the relationship takes care of the fun. You know what I mean? And so I think there has to be balance in that. And where I grow weary is that having to be logistically responsible and recreational responsible. And that's something I'm gonna say that not that I can't maintain, but I refuse to maintain because being logistically responsible and recreationally responsible is gonna make me broke.
Here's the deal, though.
I can't do that.
And we were taught this as kids.
Yeah.
Not kids, teenagers, young adults, however you want to reference it, right? We try to go for the home run in our worldly mind, right? Yeah. But what we were taught was courtship.
Yeah.
And that's where we get away from. We get away from courtship, the art of dating, the art of let's figure each other out from the ground up. Yeah. We try to hit this home run from the beginning, and that's when we fall into that pattern or the trap of like, hey, what if I take you to, if I'm from North Carolina and I take you to Atlanta, from the beginning.
So the real question is it not spicy? Or are we not having as much fun as fast as you would like? And I'm serious because I can be just as spicy. You know, for real. When you say Chili's, but at Applebee's and or
I ain't going to Applebee's. You took it too far.
It's layers to that, right? Because like, let's say if you're in a relationship with a woman and you're dating and there's no kids involved, there's an element to like, hey, where has that spice gone? Yeah. As opposed to you're in a relationship, you get married, you have kids, things change, the kids become priority. Yeah, like. It just naturally changes. Yeah. And because I can't focus on you as my spouse or as my significant other, and it's about the kids, it just naturally grows and like things become rhythmic, redundant, and you lose sight of each other. I don't know.
The ending's the same. The ending's the same. So whether you do a flip, whether you do a cartwheel. No, I really get that. No. I really get that. I think. But again, I think being spicy is actually more of a conversation or more mental than what we give it credit for. Mm-hmm. I think when we look at spice, we're looking at what we can touch, what we can feel, what's tangible, what's physical, what feels good versus okay, let's unpack that a little bit. Let's get after the mind, the emotion behind the spice, because sometimes the spice can be that of a conversation that you have in your mind. I said it in one of the podcasts. When I know I'm about to get it, I'm talking that thing up all day. You know what I'm saying? And I'm spicing it all day. So all it take is the 3 moves in the combo at the end. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I really believe that. And I believe that when you solely rely on what you can tangibly do, what you can physically do, you can only go so far.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I agree, but I still think to some degree, at some point, you need to add a little razzle dazzle. You need to do the same 3 moves, but introduce some handcuffs with the same 3 moves.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? Introduce a little whip.
Definitely.
There's just different, there's little whipped cream.
I'm going to tell you now, my wife, my old lady just asked me the other day about, hey, let me handcuff you. I said, to what? She said, to yourself. I said, hey, to do what? Because look, if my legs go behind my ear.
I got questions.
Stop. All right. So look, let me.
Okay. That was wild.
Here, can I share something with y'all though?
Yeah, talk to me.
Can I share something with y'all?
You got to say.
Here's the deal. Here's the element of spice, right? Spice, being able to be around your significant other, and let's just say sex is not involved. Mm-hmm. Being able to stimulate your significant other mentally and emotionally, that's an element of spice. Yeah. Being able to be around that person and not have to have sex or intercourse, whatever you want to phrase it as, that's an element of spicing it up, because that's how you measure if you're truly happy in a relationship or not.
I'll tell you something. I'm talking that thing up all day. You hear me? I'm talking it up all day.
But talking that thing up to what extent, though?
I'm talking that thing up to the fact that I want to complete you so much in your mind. And I was joking about it when I talked about it a second ago. When I said, I talk that thing up all day. So with my 3 moves, it only, whatever. But I really want the mind to be captivated in such a way. I want to create an element of suspense in your mind. You know what I mean? I want to, and suspense in a good way. I mean that as a tool and not as a weapon. Mm-hmm. I want to be able to create such a creative space in your mind, a romantic bliss, if I can say it that way, to where what I'm saying is it don't matter if we in the bedroom or if we in Cancun. I want you to still feel that element of connection because I've stimulated your mind. Yeah. Now I'm not saying that Cancun is, or a vacation spot
I got what you're saying.
Is not nice to be in. Mm-hmm. I know atmosphere helps too. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But if we're not in that atmosphere, I don't want you to feel like the spice is not there because of location. I don't want it to be centered around, again, what's tangible and what's physical. I want to be interconnected in the mind to where none of that even matters.
I think
I might not can afford no handcuffs, but I'm gonna feel like I'm handcuffed in my mind. You know what I'm saying? You better grab my wrist. You better grab my wrist. What's wrong with you? Get some zip ties. What's wrong with you?
Zip ties. What?
First of all, don't put no zip ties. Yeah, that's a little too close.
That's too hard to get out of. Now you gotta get some scissors.
Look, I think zip ties are arguably harder to get out of.
Use some shoestrings. I don't know.
That's a lot of steps. So just use a tie. Just use a tie.
You get the point.
Let's go. Yeah,
you get the point. I'm just saying. Let's
I just think there's levels to intimacy, man, and and me specifically, I'm learning that.
Ooh, I just thought of something. Go ahead, keep going.
I'm learning that intimacy is more than just sex. I think sex is a big piece of it, but the true measure of happiness comes when you don't have to.
This is why I'm connected to talking and communicating in the heart and all that kind of stuff. Because too many relationships fail because of lack of conversation about the spice.
Communication, man.
It ain't that I ain't willing to do it.
Yeah.
We just ain't talked about it.
Yeah.
That's all. And that's why I keep harping on that. I was trying to figure out how to get that thing around the mountain, and I think I just figured it out. Doing it isn't the problem. You never gave me the chance because we never talked about it.
That's why is that, though?
I mean, there's a level of intimidation. There's a level of, do I really even know what I like? And the problem is in not knowing what I liked, I stepped out and found out something new. And now now I'm saying, spice at home. No, you stepped out, you found something new. Yeah. I'm being real. Or you watch something on a site that you know. I ain't gonna say you had no business because you grown. You watch what you want to watch, but you saw something that intrigued you.
No, that's the truth.
And instead of coming home and talking about what you saw, it came from a different source. And from it coming from a different source, that's what stimulated you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think two different things. What you were saying, you literally said the older you get, the more you realize how important intimacy is. I think that's because two different women already know that. So you have to connect with a woman on an emotional and a level of communication where you make intimacy more important than just sex for them. But for men, when we were young, we won't think about that. We just think how we get the butt, how quick can we get it?
Yeah.
And so, we're going after that thing. The older we get, the more we realize that, hey, to get it and to get it the way I want to and to get it how I want it, when I want it, I got to give you what you want over here. I've got to communicate. I've got to talk to you in a way that you can respond to.
So let me ask you this. You said in order for me to get this element of you, I got to be able to provide this element of me. Mm-hmm. In your honest opinion, how much of that is mental? How much is that is physical? And this is the other piece. How much of that is financial?
I don't really think it's, for some people it may be financial. I'm not saying it's financial. I think it's more of just communication. A woman wants to know that all of them is important, not just what's between their legs.
Yeah.
And once you communicate that all of them is beautiful and all of them is, and you get into their mind.
Yeah.
Because what people mess up is they think an orgasm just happens between their legs. The orgasm starts here. And so if you get here first, you know what I'm saying? But seriously, that's why I say I think it's a communication thing. You gotta speak to what is intimate in them. Like what is the intimate part of them that they want. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Yeah. Man. I don't know, man. Like I'll always have like the married perspective when it comes to this, and
because you're married. I'm gonna always have a married perspective.
Yeah.
You're married. Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's just intimacy.
It's old and corny, but intimacy, that old thing they say, into me you see.
Yeah.
That's intimacy. Into me you see. And a woman wants you to see completely inside of it.
Yeah, you made a valid point, man. Like it definitely starts in the mind, and like and another part of it too is, being able to vocalize what that looks like.
Yeah.
And that gets away from having to spread the legs, however, right? Like it's just so many variables to intimacy, and it's not just sex. I'm gonna keep saying that like for as long as this pod goes on, but like it's just so many variables to that, and
I'm starting to get to a space where it's nice to have, but it ain't my priority no more. It really is.
What are we talking about? Nice to have what?
It's nice to
company,
it's
company,
nice,
sex.
It's nice to have company. It's nice to have sex.
Okay, I didn't know what we were talking about. Okay.
I'll even say because I'm getting better at wholeness. And I think, we submerge ourselves in relationships sometimes because we lack the ability to be whole independently.
Yeah, okay.
And so because I'm becoming complete and whole for real, like for me as a person, everything that comes with a woman for me is not a necessity anymore. Mm-hmm. It's more of it's a desire, I guess. And I guess it's like I said, it's nice to have. But is it really a necessity? I'm getting to a space where now it's not. And so I'm getting to a space where being complete from a compatibility stance is more important. Like, are we complete independently? Because I'm not here to make you happy. I'm here to celebrate within your happiness. I'm here to be happy together, but I'm not here to make you happy. I'm not here to make you rich. I'm here for us to be rich together. I'm not here for that. You know what I mean? And that's because of, and that's from what I've come from relationally. My answer isn't the end all be all. I'm saying the space that I'm in life. That's where I'm kind of connected
I
at.
feel like the male anatomy still needs that release. And that's the part that males don't want to talk about. I think women have a stronger ability to suppress that physical need of being stimulated. But for men, and this is uncomfortable, I know, but it's also a truth.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable.
But I think you're right. I think we have a need to release, but my release doesn't make you important or valuable. And I'm just being real. Because you were connected to how I released, that's not the part of me that makes you valuable anymore.
But see, right there is what get a lot of men in trouble.
Yeah.
Is because we can release and detach. We can release and detach.
Yeah.
But for them, the minute we become, not for all women, but for a lot of women, once you become intimate, it's supposed to mean more.
Yeah.
It's got to mean more to them.
Yeah.
But it becomes that difference of if you're going into it as a woman, you going into it thinking, oh, I gave him something, we about to be in a relationship, this is something different. But a man's thinking, hey, I was trying to get my just trying to get that nut real quick.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm saying communication is important to me now. I'm saying literally exactly what we're talking about. That communication and the mind is my priority.
Well, we gotta. I don't want to say dumb it down, but we have to like lower it to the population of that young adult who is trying to figure that out. Because you got to think we're speaking from a place of.
I think if I could talk to my younger
kids
self,
already,
yeah,
and we've been through trials and tribulations. What about that person who hasn't been through anything, who's trying to figure that out? Like that's a key piece for me. Like if I'm 20, 21, like. Love, then comes marriage might be on my mind at the forefront. But how do I get there?
You just got to be intentional about knowing what head you're thinking with. And I'm not here to say think with the big head, not with the little head.
Right.
I'm not here to say that. Right. I'm here to say know what head you're thinking with when you make a decision that you make.
Mm-hmm.
Don't act like you wasn't thinking with your little head when you did what you did.
Yeah.
Be intentional. And I think I was talking about this before. I think it's narcissistic and toxic to be in a relationship and you're the only one that knows your intentions.
Mm.
And I think that if you communicate your intentions earlier, right, it gives everybody a chance to make informed decisions. Yeah. It gives us a chance to say, here's our base, and now we can grow together. Not, okay, here's our base, and because I experienced something somewhere else, now I'm saying that you're not a spicy person. Now, here's our base. We grow together. We grow together because we communicate together. We stimulate the mind. And again, I'm not here to tell you what head to think with. I'm just saying, when you're thinking with a particular head, know that you're thinking with that head. And there are things that come from that.
Yeah.
There are blessings that
curses.
come from, and there are consequences. I ain't gonna say curses, but I'll say consequences that come from the respective head that you decide to think with.
Yeah.
For sure. Ooh. That was heavy.
That was. Something you said earlier, you were talking about when a guy starts talking about, I lost the spice. But what you said was a lot of times that happens when they start watching videos of other kind of spice. Mm-hmm. You basically, call it what it is. You watching porn or whatever, and then you go home.
They ain't ready to talk about that.
You watching porn, you go home, and then you want your wife to be a porn star. Or you want your girl to be a porn star, and that's just not, that's not what it is.
Or the inverse. She's watching,
and
then the expectation for you grows.
Yeah. So and again, the older me now understands how dangerous that is and how toxic it is and how detrimental it can be to a relationship, whether you married or not, just straight to a relationship with somebody you with, because you, like you said, you create unrealistic expectations of what something looks like. And so now the person you with, you feel like, oh, well, they kind of boring me because they ain't doing all that I saw. Yeah, but it took them 19 takes to do that mess. Yeah. Cut it out.
So, but So the moral of the story is, we hit on this, right? Communication is key, and being able to stimulate your partner in various ways other than physical intercourse, like it plays a major role. Because, like I said, like the fact that you're just happy to be in the same ecosystem, ecospace, whatever, as your partner, without all of that, like it shows that you're truly invested into what that relationship or marriage looks like. And it's important. It's so important. Yeah. And I'm speaking from a place of where, like, the status quo of wake up, get the kids ready for school, drop them off, go to work, come home, eat dinner, have a little small talk, repeat. It's a thing.
Mm-hmm. I think that if we I'm all about changing the verbiage. I'm all about changing the vernacular. And I believe that I think if you remove the word spice, because I think that's connected to an image outside of the relationship.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah.
I would like to look at it as being intentionally unpredictable. I think I think everything is about verbiage. It's all about how you express and how you say it, and that also helps a person hear a particular way. If you're intentionally unpredictable, the word intentional says, I'm intentionally doing this because I'm connected to the threads of your heart, to the threads of your mind. I'm intentionally being unpredictable because I know you're expecting me to come home at 6. But no, I'm intentionally unpredictably coming home at 5:30 because I'm going to set the house up to be in a particular space. Or I'm going to set the room to be in this particular space. And again, that's those things of being able to control a narrative that you can maintain and grow from. So when you're trying to be spicy, that gets kind of uncomfortable because you ain't going to having handcuffs every night is that's just weird. That becomes
you can't do that.
That's some bondage type stuff, and that gets weird. But when you're intentionally unpredictable, that means you've put cognitive thought into what it is I'm going to do that's outside of the norm to keep your attention.
Can I ask you this though? Does physical touch validate commitment?
No. It may stimulate commitment.
No, and I ask it from a standpoint of this. Let's say you go on a drop, for lack of better words, right? To you, you're like, hey, I am committed as all get out. But to her, because that physical connection, that physical release means something, and I'm willing to argue that it does. But because you're like, hey, look,
before we answer this question, I believe that the argument actually has to be in reverse because from my experience, a woman would put us on a drought before we can put them on. I'm not.
So
I haven't met a man
that could potentially mean something else.
I haven't met a man that says I'm gonna put my woman on a.
I
ain't never met no man that was capable of doing that.
No,
I'm mad. She ain't getting none this week.
Nah. Hear me out though. That stems back to the standpoint of like status quo, the rhythm, like the daily battle rhythm, like.
If you don't, if I
wake up, work, sleep, repeat.
If I miss my 2 to 3 sessions a week, are we all right? I'm asking. Yeah. I ain't gonna act like I'm
That's
not.
Valid though.
I'm asking. Are we good? Are we?
Yeah.
And so I'm asking, and then again, that's what stimulates the spice.
Yeah.
Because what I'm not getting from this source, I'm either getting from another source or another, like another video outlet. Remember what I said: pressure and having the right outlets.
Yeah, but it's a whole lot of different things you can do. It's a lot of different things you can do when you say bringing spice back or being intentional. I mean, they even got little games you can play now where you got cards and tonight both of us pick a card and we're gonna do what the card says do. And I mean, it could be as minimal as a massage, or it could be, all different things. I'm saying that could be.
And let me stop you there. The spice for me is create. Let's say we're playing a game like you just said. The card is create your own adventure. The adventure is, hey, clean this house.
I was about to say, look, y'all talking about spice.
Clean this house, man.
You talking about spice? I'm learning now. You wanna get yourself set up for some good stuff? Go get an oil change. Go. What? I'm just saying.
I'm confused on what you're saying. You saying the woman go get the oil change?
No.
I think he's speaking on.
You saying when you go get her oil
change?
When
I go get her oil change.
No, he's speaking of independency though.
You get her oil change. You mess around and get her nails done. She gonna come in house with a great attitude.
Let me help you with something.
Yeah.
In the beginning, yeah. But at a certain point, that just becomes the standard.
Right.
So when that becomes the standard, where's the spice?
You start small.
Yeah, you start small, but I want you to hear me because what happens, people think doing that is doing enough, and that should be spice. No, that just becomes the standard after a while. It becomes the standard of you the man. You gonna get, if y'all together, y'all married. You the man. You gonna get the oil change. You want her nails done. You gonna get her nails done. Yeah. So now it's how do we keep it spicy? And that's what I'm saying. You got to find different ways, whether it be playing those games. If y'all like it, spice in relationship and keeping a relationship fresh. Forget saying spice. Keeping things fresh can be as simple as
I like
saying
the word fresh.
it can be as simple as saying, "Hey, Friday we doing overnight in Raleigh. We got I got a hotel room booked." And it don't even matter if y'all don't even have sex. It's the fact that y'all going to see something different.
Intentionally unpredictable.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to do something different.
And I mean, and a lot of times, man, it comes to just showing that you care and that you're invested.
Yeah.
Intentionally unpredictable. I think the lesson from this conversation is you got to be intentionally unpredictable.
I'm gonna tell you something. I went to counseling, and the counselor said, counselor said one day, and it's basically intentionally unpredictable. But they were saying in relationships fail is when you have two people. And let's say the person you with, you know what kind of food they like, and they know what kind of food you like. And the relationship should always be you preparing the table for the person that you're with.
Wow.
And where we mess up is we try and put on the table what we want to eat, and we forget to put on the table what they want to eat. But if I'm preparing a table for you, and I know that you like ice cream, and I'm putting ice cream there every now and then, I put a little pork rinds on the table because you like pork rinds. I'm just saying, but unpredictable. I'm just gonna throw something else out there that I know you like. I'm preparing that table for you. I'm gonna prepare that table and get everything I want.
And look, I'll go a step further. Not a grand, addition to, but like, let's say, spouse is out or significant other is out, and they're on the way home, and they're like, "Hey, I'm about to grab something to eat. What you want?" To me, knowing what I want based off where we go, if I say Taco Bell, you shouldn't have to ask me, "Well, what do you want from Taco Bell?" The get off for me is Taco Bell, got it.
So
and then you come home.
I think what you're saying, and so I think there's an element of freshness that men require as well. But I think the intentionally unpredictable or the spice of keeping it fresh is more for the stimulation of a woman, whereas we operate in the element of consistency.
Attention to detail.
For me, I don't need you to be
vice versa.
I don't need you to be unpredictable. Yeah. I need you to be the same thing. Because I know what I need. I know what I like. I know what
we want a woman to be consistent, but we want you to be open when we're ready to change.
Yeah. Open to growth.
Yeah.
I would say open to growth. Yeah.
Who changes more, men or women though?
I think they both change at different times, but I also believe, again, counseling, they said you should have, if not weekly, monthly check-ins. Hey, where are we? Even in relationships, hey, where are we? What are we doing? What are we doing good? What are we not doing good? How's sex been for you? How can we get a little bit better at that?
Yeah.
Is there anything you need? You want a little longer? A little shorter?
Yeah.
What we need?
Yeah.
A little harder? Like, you know what I'm saying? Check in.
I think with that, though, comes humility and being able to put your pride and ego to the side. Because me hearing that on the surface, I would hate that. I equate it to like quarterly counselings, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you would hate to be told what you're not doing right or what you're not doing at all.
I think that conversation became easier for me because I started being intentional about seeing my own mistakes. So it was easier to start having the hard conversations about what I wasn't doing right because I was more conscious of the fact that I did jack that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was selfish during sex.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt that.
Yep.
And so now being able to be self-aware when it comes to me, it's like, I know. I already thought that last night. I was in the shower, washing up, thinking to myself, I left her hanging. Yeah. You know what I mean? In whatever capacity that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Man, maybe I should have got the oil change. Maybe I should have, maybe I should have
sent some flowers.
Maybe I should have sent some flowers.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have sent the text message.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe one more text message would have changed something.
But what messes up is that it's not always easy for women to communicate that at the moment that they feel some kind of way. But if you have a set time and a set space that they know they're free to tell you how they feel, for a man it may hurt your ego immediately, but the way it'll grow your relationship is crazy.
And I also think that us as men, I'll speak for the men community, checking in isn't always a bad thing. Mm-mm. A lot of times when men
don't check in because they don't want to know the truth.
Right.
Exactly.
But no, and that's exactly what I'm getting at. Like, checking in isn't always a bad thing. I'll speak for myself. Like, there's times where my old lady is like, "Hey, are we okay? Are you okay?" Kind of getting to what we talked about last week. Yeah. And the quick answer is, I'm good. Because you don't want to have that uncomfortable conversation of, I'm not okay. Or maybe we're okay, but we could be doing better. Yeah. So the inverse is, look, you have to be comfortable with knowing that, look, things could be better. And, there's always room for improvement.
So when we have those intentional conversations, those hard conversations, I think it's important that we also understand good communication, active listening,
Yeah.
questioning and responding. And so notice I said active listening, questioning, responding in that order. Not active listening to respond, but active listening to ask questions for clarity, and then you respond. And then also, I'm also learning this as well. They always talk about, not making I statement or making I statements versus you statements. But the other part that I'm learning that's a trigger now is saying always and every time and everything always. Encapsulating all of our encounters with one.
Yeah.
It's almost it's a setup for failure. It's leading to a shutdown. The shutdown is going to happen because instead of keeping it about this particular moment or about this particular subject, it now becomes too broad, and now the solution now feels too big.
Yeah.
The solution feels too great.
I got one thing I want to add because I know we got to get out of here. But if there's something I could give as the old guy to people to help
CPA.
to help spice to the old guy to help people to keep things fresh or spice is in a relationship. Always have a goal that you're working towards. And I know it sounds crazy, but if you always have a goal, because for a man is supposed to lead the relationship and lead the home. And this might even be more so a marriage situation. So maybe I'm giving you marriage advice. I don't know how this applies to being in a relationship.
I'm always,
I don't know how this applies.
Yeah, I'm always receptive.
I'm about to say I don't know how this applies to a relationship, but it can if you're in a serious relationship. But always be working towards something. Like if we know, life is good when you know you're going on a vacation at the end of the month. Or next month, y'all got a vacation plan, so y'all saving up and y'all working towards that vacation.
Yeah, the household
it keeps things
fresh.
It keeps things fresh. It keeps it fresh.
Yeah.
Or if we know, hey, baby, look,
Ambition keeps it fresh. Yeah,
next
goals
year
keep it fresh.
we
Yeah.
buying a car. So every week we checking in on how the plan going to get that car done. It's keeping. If you keep some kind of something that you all are working towards, it's going to keep a good conversation and keep you all working towards something. And small vacations, small little outings, date nights, little things like that. Always have something planned. Always have something planned that y'all are working towards. It'll keep the relationship fresh.
Get away from the status quo.
Yep.
That's my last words.
Go ahead and give it to us again.
Have vision for it.
That wasn't what I wanted you to say. So,
No, go there, man. You know.
Intentionally
intentionally unpredictable.
unpredictable. Yeah, you got to be intentionally unpredictable. And my dad says it this way. He says you got to be consistently inconsistent. But I think I like intentionally unpredictable better. You know what I mean?
I get what he was saying.
Yeah,
Yep.
because I think the consistently inconsistent, I think it speaks to the heart. I think it speaks to, I know what I need to do, but I need to I need to always have you, not so much guessing, but anticipating. You know what I mean? And so I think the anticipation is what keeps it. I love the word that you changed to fresh and not
because
spicy.
that's what the woman wants. She wants to be able to be at work and be like, you won't believe what my man did for me last night.
Yeah.
You won't believe he brought me flowers. You won't believe he brought me, he did
I
this.
hope he inconsistent tonight.
Yeah. He gonna do something. He gonna do something new tonight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It keeps it good.
Yeah. I love it, man. Give me a second. You heard it here first, man. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, all things. Give me a second. Safe Space Radio, Safe Space Network. We keep the main thing because you're the main character in your story. Let us know what you think in the comments about it being fresh, spicy, intentionally unpredictable, all those things that keep the relationship healthy. That's the key. Keep the relationship healthy. You heard it here first. We're out.
Go buy y'all a little play box, a little sex box, and have some stuff in it to help you out too.
I'm glad your camera went off when he said that. Hey,
keep this on. I'm helping the people. Buy a swing.
I still feel bad, y'all. I ain't even been able to recover.
It just went off.
Like 2 seconds ago. Perfect.
Buy a swing.